Today I'm with Mustafa Akyol from Turkey, and we met recently and talked about AI ethics and the philosophical aspect of responsible AI. And I'm really looking forward to this episode to talk about it again because I'm really interested in these things. So thank you for coming, Mustafa.
Thank you so much.
Can you tell us about yourself and what led you to focus on responsible AI?
Okay. As someone who grounded in both philosophy and engineering, I have been long drawn to question about how knowledge is formed and who holds the authority to wield it. The rise of AI challenges humanity's monopoly on knowledge and creativity, prompting me to explore how we can retain ethical control without stifling innovation. That's where responsible AI becomes essential.
No, it's really interesting. That's the whole question. How can we control ethics? Yeah, that's what people are trying to put it into regulation. But I know from our previous discussion and what I think you'll present in just a little bit that I think you see it in a different way, that regulation isn't necessarily the thing that will make a difference.
Yeah. Okay, I can start my presentation then.
Okay.
One of the closest approximations to perfection in nature and art is the Fibonacci sequence. But can this harmony be achieved in AI governance, or do ethical and social responsibilities exist beyond this order? We will reverse the follow of the Fibonacci cycle and explore how the golden ratio of harmony can be established among stakeholders in responsible AI governance. Each step will give birth to an support the next, with accelerating intervals, but first we must return to ancient Greece. Aristotle once said, man is by nature a social animal, and man alone only animals possesses logos. This distinction emphasized two fundamental human traits, being social and possessing logos. To Aristotle, logos encompassed reason, thought, and discourse. Essential conditions for being political means social. Without thought, there is no knowledge. Without knowledge, no discourse. And without discourse, no society. Consequently, humanity's greatest achievements, culture, art, science, would be impossible without the logos. Logos represent the human ability to reason, interpret, and process knowledge. Through this, humans have also developed the capacity to create ethical values. For centuries, humanity maintained a unique status based on these traits. But today, AI challenges this singularity, perhaps even preparing to dethrone it. For most of history, knowledge has been a human monopoly. Information technologies, from early computing to modern AI, have evolved from merely storing and presenting information to analyzing and processing it. Yet these technologies were never capable of mimicking human thought or independently generating knowledge. AI, however, is different. It doesn't just store data, it learns, detect patterns, make predictions, and even exhibits a degree of creativity. Debates persist about how AI reasoning, processing, and knowledge production differ from human cognition. For now, I must agree that creativity remains a uniquely human trait. But for how long? Regardless, AI's growing capabilities increasingly position it as a perceived rival to humanity. And perceptions matters. After all, as Kant said, appearances are not things in themselves. They are merely representations our minds construct according to certain laws. Our perceptions shape reality or even create it. This shift has the potential to lead individuals into an existential crisis, a fear of losing their uniqueness. As the influence of artificial intelligence spread across domains like education, arts, law, and democracy, the crisis is bound to intensify. Naturally, we shall not examine each of these areas in detail, for each would warrant a dedicated session of its own. Rather, our path forward lies in tracing the roots of this upheaval to two foundational pillars, logos and ethics. In response to this crisis, humanity may return to its second distinguishing trait, sociality, and its ability to generate ethical values. This raises the every knowledge system develop its own ethical framework. Could AI establish its own set of values or a complete lack thereof? More critically, as humanity faces an existential crisis over the very nature of knowledge, it may seek to reclaim control by imposing ethical constraints on AI. Given AI's unstoppable rise, particularly in knowledge related fields, eliminating it is neither feasible nor meaningful. The real challenge is fostering awareness. Many intellectuals and researchers are working on AI ethics frameworks and regulations. Governments, NGOs, and international organizations are also taking steps in this direction. However, three key challenges remain. First, regulatory complexity. Different legal frameworks exist across regions, often conflicted. Even with US AI regulations vary by state. This fragmentation complicates compliance, especially for AI companies operating globally. And the second, weak enforcement. Many regulations lack binding authority. Even within EU, sticker AI rules face criticism for stifling innovation and competitiveness. And the third, regulatory rollback. In the US, AI regulations have recently been reversed. Meanwhile, China's DeepSeek breakthrough has intensified competition, prompting the US government to frame regulations as obstacles to AI dominance. These challenges create complacency among AI developers, the root issue, a lack of grassroots engagement. Current regulations stem from intellectual efforts and institutional initiatives, but lack public demand. Without societal pressure, profit driven companies view regulations as obstacles rather than necessities. But what if responsible AI become consumer demand? As with all matters of societal concern, the creation of responsible artificial intelligence hinges greatly on the presence of collective will and public demand. History also provides examples in commerce. Organic food movements pushed companies toward healthier products, and carbon footprint awareness drove investments in green energy. Similarly, if consumers demand ethical AI, companies will no longer see responsibility as a burden, but as a competitive advantage. This is where we return to beginning existential crisis as a historic opportunity. If the AI community prioritizes educating the public rather than enforcing top down regulations, a broader AI awareness can emerge. Without this, societal demand for ethical AI will eventually rise, but only after experiencing its negative effects firsthand. This delay could lead to irreversible consequences, and unstructured reactions could result in unhealthy reactionary demands. By fostering a public driven democratic demand, ethical AI can become commercially necessary. Global service providers will now be both willing or at least commercially compelled to implement regulations and eager to push for globally unified regulatory frameworks. Thus, with the participation of society, corporations, intellectuals, scientists, civil society organizations, public institutions, governments, and international organizations, responsible AI can be built on truly global scale. This would create a self-sustaining feedback loop. one that, like the Fibonacci sequence, accelerates with each of iterations, leading to a more robust and globally integrated responsible AI framework. As this cycle continues, the companies that act early and take the initiative will give will gain the advantage. But in shaping AI's role in our world, the real question remains: will we replicate Fibonacci's natural harmony, or will AI become a mirror to our own chaos? That's all.
Can I ask you a question that wasn't prepared? We'll see that I didn't send you. It's about this conscious user. That do you think that the AI companies have any motivation to actually inform the user, or will that have to be have to come from somewhere else?
They are motivated to earn money. And if conscious users became and demand the ethical regulations and values and safety responsibility from the companies, they do that. But also, they don't want to inform the people, or they don't want to, they will be cautious. It's, I think, open. Actually.
Exactly. Yeah. I think that they probably think that the conscious user will give them more work and cost them more money. And the question is whether that's true, right?
Yes.
We have to find out. So, from your presentation, it's an interesting, yeah, it's interesting. I love the importance of public awareness and education because this
Yeah.
is the trigger to everything. And I love that you really link it to philosophy, to like the concept of ethos in general. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you think that it really can play a role to make a difference.
Without grassroots engagement, AI ethics remain abstract. Public awareness turns responsibility from a regulatory burden into a market demand, just like with organic food or green energy examples. Education can shift consumer preferences and pressure companies into ethical innovation. I think this is the way.
I think so too. It's amazing. I am a big fan of public awareness and education, but I hadn't seen it as something that can trigger actually consumer demand. So I like that direction. And the what are potential economic incentives for the AI companies to actually prioritize the practices, responsible practice that the consumers are would be asking for?
Responsible AI can become a competitive advantage. Consumer trust, regularities, and global market access will favor companies that lead in ethics. Early adopters won't just comply, they will define the standards others follow.
I think so too. And I think it's actually the same with diversity and inclusion, which are dirty words now in America.
Yeah,
Diversity and inclusion. But I think consumer demand in AI will will lead to that because
yeah,
you're in Turkey, yeah, and there's certain limit to AI tools for people in Turkey that are
yeah.
just trained to think like Americans, right? Yeah, so how can collaboration enhance this movement for responsible development of AI?
AI isn't just code, it's culture, psychology, law, economics, and philosophy. By integrating diverse fields, we can anticipate unintended consequences and design systems that are not just intelligent but also just. Harmony, like the Fibonacci spiral, emerges from convergence, I think.
I think so too. Yeah, one more question. I wasn't in the list, but I'd like to close with one question. Do you think that it's reasonable that big tech could take this step, or will it rather be upstarts like DeepSeek that are creating their niche and their position? Do you have some opinion?
You ask about DeepSeek and about success, about its
Yeah.
success. I understand. Yeah, I think there is a big debates on it. How can DeepSeek achieve this? I think it's not important. I think the important thing is how ethical is it, and how respect to democracy and individuals' liberty and their perceptions. I'm not sure about it because China is an authoritarian government, and the world go through their authoritarianism is rising, and this is very bad thing. And I think that AI play a crucial role in that. And so I don't find the DeepSeek as a good innovation because I don't know more about DeepSeek, but it indicates the US companies. We must achieve more and we must beat it, they say, but we can only achieve this without deregulation, with deregulation. And this is becomes a big problem for the world, I think.
I think so too. It will be interesting to see how things move forward. Thank you so much for your thoughts and your really thought-provoking presentation. I personally am working hard to get this grassroots movement. That's how we found each other. So hopefully this will continue. It will spread.
We must fight.
Yeah, we must. Yeah.
We,
Yeah.
we can't give up. Yeah, it is very hard, and we don't know will be success. We don't know, but I think if we respect humanity, we must fight this.
I think so too. We'll do everything to help that happen. Thank you so much again, and we will definitely continue in the fight in any way we can.
Yeah. Okay. It's my pleasure, and thank you so much.
Thank you.